day. Pump out to my young boys, maybe girls, but not today. Something a little different. Chilling right now at the crib, watching this news, man. I've been watching the news a lot lately, and it's been pretty lit. I ain't gonna lie. Being I'm younger, the news never really been my thing. Watching the news never really been something that intrigued me. In my head, and that's still a little bit of that's still relevant. Whereas like all of this stuff is kind of fake and staged a little bit, but now seeing everything that's been transpiring with Israel, Iran, and America, it's been real enlightening watching this and seeing how a lot of this stuff gets covered, you know, and I've been following this whole thing with World War III and the war between America and Iran and all of that. And I just want to get on here real quick and give some of my thoughts about everything that I've been seeing and what's been going on. And I'm missing a lot of context as far as why a lot of this stuff is happening. I'm really just now tapping in as early as about a week ago. So I don't even know the full context as to why Israel and Iran been at it for so long. But I'm just gonna give some feedback or give my opinions on some of the things that I've been seeing and the things that's been going on with the country, because all of this stuff that we're seeing is prophetic. Iran is, I believe, being used. Iran used to be known as, the Persian Empire. Biblically, they were once used to essentially free the Israelites. And, I believe the Most High is doing something similar where, they are kind of following that kind of same loop, and they are going to be a key factor in being used as far as getting the true Israelites back to their original, their God given position. We ain't gonna talk too much about that, but the people who are claiming to be Israelites and claiming to be a certain demographic of people, we talked about on here plenty of times, that's not them. And, again, as I'm seeing this stuff transpire between America and Iran, it's very eye opening as far as like the current state that Babylon is in with the current state Babylon is in and the current state like our leadership is in, Trump. America has a very prideful spirit. America has a very, gaudy, braggadocious kind of like spirit where they can just do whatever they want. What's going on, y'all? Make sure y'all hit the stream with a like by double tapping. But they can just do whatever they want. They can, and this just can be no consequences. Iran, my bad, Iran. But yeah, they think they can just do whatever they want. And there's no consequences. They sat up there and went over there and bombed the whole country, and they feel like they can just get they bombed the country for having a nuclear weapons or whatever, or forming nuclear weapons, however that go. Meanwhile, America has nuclear weapons that they've actually used before. That's one thing that I can't wrap my head around. It's like it doesn't make sense to me. And again, I never typically follow politics and stuff like that. So I never even, and I'm younger, so I never even got to see kind of like how America has been moving throughout history. But based off what I'm seeing on the news, it appears that this is like a normal thing for America to feel like the all powerful, voice of reason, judge, jury, executioner, everything of the world. And that's just crazy to me. So they felt like they can just go over there and be like, no, y'all can't do that. Let me put y'all on timeout. Boom, y'all. And then claim, okay, now it's going to be peace. And it's interesting because biblically, if you see the book of Thessalonians, it talks about how when they say when they say peace and safety, then there will be swift destruction. Then sudden destruction will, come after, and that's a reoccurring theme that I've been seeing as far as how Trump has been playing this whole thing. He's been peace, peace. Okay, now that we did this, there's going to be peace. Now that we did that, there's going to be safety. Now that this has happened, there's going to be a ceasefire. And every time he has said, okay, it's gonna be this, it's gonna be peace, it's gonna be safety, you can stop worrying. Every time he has said that, boom, something happens, boom, something happens, something else blows up. And another thing that I'm finding, to be strange is, again, is the way this thing is being covered. It's like it's like you really can't believe a lot of the things that's being shown on the news. Like even as far as Trump saying, okay, it's gonna be a ceasefire. Or really, let's even go back further than that. You can't even believe these people because Trump said that he was going to take 2 weeks off to reassess and think about if he was going to intervene or not within the war. And then a couple days later, he started booming people. And then as far as that go, I haven't seen nothing on the news saying anything about casualties in that situation. Like, do nobody find that strange that you didn't drop bombs? The way that Trump is wording this, he's saying that the way he worded it, he said we completely obliterated their facilities, and you saying there's no casualties? You saying that nobody got hurt in this crossfire, and Iran is supposed to just live that down? They're supposed to just be like, okay, no, it's cool. But on the news and the way they covering it, they're not even mentioning if it was any casualties or not, which I find it hard to believe if they saying it's not. Because how you sit up there and bomb three nuclear facilities, completely obliterated, as you say, you obliterated the facilities. There's nothing left. If we're to believe that notion first and foremost, which they already came out and said that the damage is actually not even as great as it's been gassed up to be. More than likely the stuff that they was trying to hit has been moved, or even still, they say they only set back they program, they only set back the process by a couple of months, which also could be part of war. That's the thing. When you dealing with war, you don't have to be a general to understand, a military general to understand that the element of surprise is everything. They're gonna sit up there and keep lying on the media. They're gonna sit up there and keep saying, okay, this is this, so that side can let their guard down, and then that's when they attack. They're not gonna. This is warfare. They're not gonna be giving you a play by play, step by step as to all of the moves they're gonna be making and how they're gonna be going about, these battles. They're gonna lie. They're gonna deceive. But again, I just find it interesting that you mean to tell me that these people, that if we going off what Trump said, you obliterated three nuclear facilities and there was no casualties. Not even a security guard was on duty. Even if you say you set up there and attacked them at night and nobody was there, nobody was working. So if these people is working on something as important as a nuclear bomb, they're gonna have security guards. At the very least, you're gonna have security guards. You're gonna have those guys that be there to direct trucks in and to and fro and all of that type of stuff. Somebody's gonna be around. You can't convince me that you hit three facilities and not a soul was on duty at either of them, and you obliterated them. You saying you obliterated these facilities, and then you expect them to just live that down. You damn near attacked them unlawfully, and they supposed to just be like, okay, yeah, you got it. They expect Iran to be like, yeah, you got it, Big Daddy. You just gave me a whooping, and now I'm gonna just hold my L. Even with retaliation of them saying, okay, they set up there and fired the missiles, and America, the United States, intercepted the missiles. It's like then Trump got on social media and started clowning them. He like, I hope you got that out of your system. Your efforts was futile. He basically said you ain't shit. All your efforts ain't ish. Y'all are trash. We're the U.S. You can never mess with us. and hold that L. It's like, damn, he couldn't even like, if you really trying to avoid war and you know these people are in a sensitive spot because all of the things that's going on, if you know they're in a sensitive spot, right, and they on the brink of crashing all the way out, why would you sit up there and go on social media and taunt these people and make them seem like they're insignificant and they ain't nothing and they can't ever be nothing and all of this other type of stuff? And the whole world is seeing this stuff. The whole world is seeing what America is doing. And China has already came out and said, you know, the world can essentially go on without America. So, and I believe Russia is also, you know, in support of Iran having, you know, nuclear rights and all of that type of stuff. Because they like, okay, how is it that they can't have it and you can? That just, it's just not fair. So, and then whole time America and Iran apparently, in my head, I'm like, shoot, they've been at war. Because I just seen something a minute ago, or I seen something yesterday that was talking about, they was talking about on NBC, they was talking about Iran's their abilities to do cyber attacks, right? So if they talking about their ability to do cyber attacks and they saying that Iran has done cyber attacks on the US before, to me that sounds like they've been at war. That sounds like America and Iran been ops to one another. And if they've been ops to one another, why would I then sit up there and let you disarm me while you can continue to have what you got? Like the world is in a weird state because how is they even listening to their ops? Like how are they even able to get on the news, and Trump is able to get on the news and act like these people are actually negotiating and they're talking these things out and this and that. Like I highly doubt a lot of the stuff that Trump is saying is even like legit. We gotta remember that scripture in Thessalonians where it says when they get to talking about peace and they get to talking about safety, expect destruction. Because that's all it's gonna be in this warfare that's going on. If you sit up there watching the news and you're believing the proxies and these agendas that these people are pushing, they're trying to sit up there and sway the public into getting a sense of safety. America wants you to have your guard down, and Iran wants you to have your guard down. So Trump wants the American citizens to have their guard down, and Iran also wants American citizens and America as a country to have their guard down. Is it's so obvious. It's so obvious. They want you to sit up there and focus on the Diddy trial, which is apparently about to come to a close soon. We're gonna see what they do with that. It's looking like Diddy about to get off, but that's a whole nother topic. But yeah, it's like they want you to have your guard down. They want you to keep your head in the sand. They want you to feel like, oh, there's nothing to worry about. Because there's so much already going on within the country in itself. There's already so much going on in the nation. You got these riots, you got food stamps finna get taken away, Medicaid. It's about to be a lot of struggle. It's about to be a lot of hardships, a lot of hard times coming. Simultaneously, while World War III is finna break out, or it's breaking out, and we entering the Armageddon. And the thing is, the Most High's people aren't scared. This is actually a very exciting time. Like I said, I've never watched the news this much ever. This stuff is like actually exciting to me. Like I'm watching biblical prophecy unfold right before my very eyes. It's like, how can you not be a Bible believer at this point when we're literally seeing the scriptures jump off the page? When we're literally seeing the Most High do a great thing where he's shifting the whole world to essentially free his people, for the ones that's really downtrodden, the ones that's really at the bottom, to take their rightful place as the head. And again, like I was saying before, Iran was used, that nation of people was used many years ago to achieve the same thing that's finna happen now. Everything is just repeating itself. Everything is just repeating themselves. They was pivotal in when it came to the Israelites being free And the same thing is happening now. The Israelites is about to get freed. We about to sit up there and take back the whole world as we supposed to have. And it's only a matter of time. Trump got on there and was snapping. He talking about they don't know what the F they doing and this and that, because he's feeling it too. He's either acting, which I also believe a lot of these people are acting, is giving that vibe that a lot of them is acting. I feel like I feel like they own a script, but they also are doing a lot of improv at the same time. But that's neither here nor there. But Trump is losing it. He's losing it, crashing out because he's losing his grip. He came out and said that he controls the entire world. And when he's talking about he controls the entire world and he trying to make it seem like he can make stuff shake and step whenever he want to, he doesn't really have pull like that. He doesn't really have pull like that. Most High has his hand on all of this. The Most High is pushing Iran to do the things that they're doing. And these times is not times to be scared. Excuse me. If you are currently scared, that's only a testament to your standing in your faith in your relationship with the Creator. If you scared, then it's time for you to read your Bible. It's time for you to start getting the understanding and having and putting the work behind your faith. Because I've seen and heard a lot of people say, "Oh, I got Jesus," and everything like that. But it's gonna take more than that. A lot of these people think they just can go to church on Sunday and be like, "Oh, Jesus, hallelujah," and you're gonna be straight. It's gonna take some actual work. It's gonna take you actually being in the know, knowing what's going on, seeing this stuff play out, because you can't stick your head in the sand with this one. Prophecy is coming to fruition, and it's happening right before everybody's eyes. It's the signs of the times, and it's time for everybody to put the work behind their faith. It's time for everybody to start peeling their Bible open and again starting to strengthen that relationship that you have with the Creator, starting to actually getting the ears to see and the ears to see, the eyes to see and the ears to hear. It's time for you to start increasing your spiritual awareness and your discernment, so you can see through all of these proxies and these things that's going to be going on, and a lot of this stuff that's going to get pushed, because times is finna get hard. It's finna get hard. We are living in some times of uncertainty, and times of great great suffering. It's a lot of great suffering going on, and it's a lot of uncertainty. The Bible talks about how when the wicked bear rule, people will mourn, and the wicked is bearing rule. Everybody is mourning. I don't know nobody. When I look around, when I go out every day, I don't see nobody. Even when I'm on social media, I don't see nobody that's like truthfully happy. If I'm on social media, I'm gonna see people complaining about something. I'm gonna see it. The vast majority of people having something to complain about. If I look around, I'm gonna see people with a spirit. I'm gonna feel people with a spirit and an energy where they are just unhappy, and there's something to be upset and complain about. When you look at the state of the world, what's happening in all of these countries, nobody is like happy or jumping with joy like, man, I'm so happy to be alive right now. These are the best times ever. If you feeling like that, you're delusional. You're delusional, because the scriptures also talk about how the world has been given unto Satan. So if you are currently enjoying Satan's kingdom, you know that's tough. That's extremely tough, because it don't sound like you on the right side of history, because none of this stuff that's going on right now, is right. None of this stuff that's going on right now is supposed to happen. But when the wicked bear rule, the people will mourn, and when the righteous rule, when God's people rule, the people are gonna rejoice. And that's the times that we coming into. We coming into the times where the Most High is starting to shift out these liars, these grifters, these guys that's been doing nothing but keeping God's people suppressed, keeping God's people silenced, keeping God's people in a box. You know, he's shifting the whole world to where the last will finish first and the first will finish last. That's also scriptural. It's about to be time for us to take back what's ours. It's about to be time for the chosen ones to claim their rightful place. But it's up to y'all in these times to make sure that you are going to be grafted in and make sure that you're going to count towards that. Because the scriptures also say there's going to be people who say, Lord, Lord, did I not cast out demons in your name? Did I not do many great works in your name? And he's going to say, depart from me, ye who practice iniquity and lawlessness. I never knew thee. You don't want to be that person. The Bible said many are called, few are chosen. It's not going to be that many people grafted in. It's not going to be that many people that get to see the other side of the calamity that's coming soon. It's not going to be many people that get to see that. So, you know, it's say 2/3 of our people is going to be destroyed. And our people are destroyed due to a lack of knowledge. You got to get that knowledge. You got to peel that book open yourself. There's really no shortcuts around it. It's really no shortcuts around it. I've been in the book of Ezekiel, and it's crazy because the book of Ezekiel, you know, I just been reading kind of like I'm gonna say chronologically, but I believe I started reading chronologically from like Proverbs, I believe, and I think that took me to Isaiah, and then to Jeremiah, and then to Ezekiel. I'm not sure the order, but I know I've been reading kind of chronological for the last few months, and it's crazy that I ended up getting to the book of Ezekiel, the same book that talks about the Persian Empire. It talks about you know, Gog and Magog and all of that rich history, which is the history of the people of Iran. And again, that book talks about how they contributed to the freeing of the Israelites, and you know how, you know, the Most High used them to essentially, you know, change the course of history in that time. And the same thing is literally happening again currently today in America. Like, if you are not in that book, bro, you're lacking. I don't care if you get anything from this video. Read your Bible. That's, you know, that's you doing the work. There's no shortcuts. You can't just go to church. You can't just listen to a pastor sweet talk your ears. You can't just watch YouTube videos and you know, hear YouTubers going to chapter and verse. You got to do the actual work. You got to do the actual work. That's what it's gonna take. You got to do the work, and you know, you got to stay prayed up out here. You got to do that too. But you know, that's not the only thing you need to do. You also got to be aware. You got to be paying attention to the world news. You got to be paying attention to everything that's going on this planet, because you know, if you just watching the U.S. news, you just watching what they talking about here. Trump is lying through his teeth every other minute. We didn't call him in so many lies at this point. It's like you can't believe nothing he's saying. He said the 2 week thing, then he started booming people. He said that he completely obliterated the nuclear facilities and the mission was an absolute 100% complete, without a shadow of a doubt, success. And then they came out and said, well, the stuff was probably more than likely actually moved weeks ago. Then he said again, he completely obliterated it and then it should be down forever. Then they said, you know what, actually, he actually only set the projects back a couple of months. Then he said, oh, well, now there's a ceasefire and there's going to be peace and the ceasefire should last forever. Then they start blowing each other up a couple of hours later. It's like y'all got to peep this stuff. Y'all got to see that these things that they're putting on the screen is not the truth. Then they said, you know, well, currently they still saying that it was no casualties as far as the U.S. hitting those Iran bases. But I personally don't believe that. I haven't seen anything that's debunked that, but, you know, I personally don't believe it currently as it stands, because I done seen these people lie and do so much to change the narrative so many times already. So, you got to be informed. You got to tap into what's going on. You know, I know they want you to pay attention to who having a baby, Love Island. I'm starting to see that on my timeline for some reason. Love Island. I guess that's a show people are watching. They want you to talk about Diddy. They want you to talk, go into all of that other stuff. And I ain't gonna say, well, actually, I am. I ain't even gonna go there. A lot of that stuff is unimportant. But yeah, pay attention to what's going on in the world because it's definitely real. It's definitely getting real. And like I said, the scriptures have been just jumping off the page as I've been reading this stuff. I'm seeing it take place in real life. All praise to the Most High because it's just come more confirmation that He is real, and it's our time. Our time is coming. Our time is coming. The righteous is about to bear rule, and the wicked is only gonna have only Satan and the kingdom of darkness only have a short amount of time. So that's why he's about to kick it up a notch. He's about to start really going overboard to try and claim souls. I didn't did a video the other day on this whole AI situation, the current state of AI. If anybody got TikTok, just type in AI and then look what pop up. You're gonna see nothing but black degeneracy, racist AI, basically looking like us. And they gonna do so much stuff with that AI stuff, but again, I'm gonna talk about that again another day. But when you just look at the state of the world as a whole, shit is spooky. But at the same time, the righteous, we not scared about this. We not scared about none of this stuff that's going on because we know what's about to happen. We know, prophetically, this is all in our favor. Everything that happens on the face of this earth is in favor of God's people. And if you scared, then you must not be God's people. So it's time to, get, spiritually, you ain't moving like a God's person. So if you scared, you got to tap in because it's just a testament to your lacking faith right now and the lack of work that you put in. I'm gonna just give it up to you like that. So that's the video. I just wanted to get on here and talk about this real quick. It's I'm gonna be probably covering some stuff again, as I see fit. Shout out to New Breed. I've been seeing him going crazy with the coverage, keeping everybody informed. I've been watching the news myself, seeing what's going on, and a lot of I know that the Most High's people is aligned right now. We all thinking the same as we seeing all of this stuff transpire. So I wanted to just give him a shout out because he definitely doing some good work right about now with the coverage. And as I'm seeing this stuff, I go to his videos and I'm like, damn, I thought the exact same thing. So we all is in line right now. So we all is getting in line, and it's all just prophetic, and it's beautiful, man. It's beautiful to see it all just take place like this. So yeah, man, more content on the way. Uh, yeah, that's pretty much it. I love y'all. Take care. Stay safe. I'm on y'all boys. Ah.